Okay. So one last question. What I like so far about almost every answer is that you logically break it down in your mind and you find out ways that something can actually be done. Okay. So now
Hmm.
I want to question you from a place which we are our most vulnerable at is when we have to crack an idea. Uh, of course, goes without saying, so many years in the industry, we have some kind of methodology that works or some kind of mental space that we create so that the idea comes a little faster than it used to before, or maybe it's experience or whatsoever. Having said that, there are bad days, and there are bad days means I think a writer's bad day cannot even be described. One can be quite miserable with trying to do the simplest of things, and I remember there are days when you're trying to check a common spelling that you completely forgotten and you're checking 10 times. Something looks wrong here, something. And every time you find that it's right, but you are unhappy about something. So that feeling of trying to communicate and come up with the idea or the right word or the right line is quite uh, difficult, if not distressing, on a bad day. And I really wanted to go to the nth degree of how bad one can feel when, and people look up to you. Now you're a senior. They say, "Arey yaar, जीशा है यार, अभी क्या है, आराम से." But you know there is no आराम से because today you are in that zone where you cannot crack it. Now
Hmm.
in that zone, all these nice, wise things that you put so far, do they stand the test of time at that point, or else do you completely break down and say कि आज तो रो लेती हूँ कुछ होने वाला नहीं.
Yeah, there are days, and unless you need to deliver that day, if you can deliver the next day, then I try and like I do my best. I keep trying,
Hmm.
and say till whatever time, till evening, till night or late night. Even when I'm lying down on bed, I'm still thinking, there has to be a way out. Why,
Yeah,
why is nothing striking? So sometimes I feel when you are not too anxious about it, then a good idea strikes. Or sometimes when
yeah,
you're doing something mundane, you're cleaning something, then a good idea strikes. So then I try and do something, like I just try to say do something, like I maybe I do some cleaning, or maybe I roll chapatis, or then sometimes some idea clicks. But there are days, of course, when you've been trying to crack something and it's not, and you feel miserable. And but I don't take it on myself so much, because I know it is something that people face. And I just try and push as much as I can, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, and I feel very miserable or unhappy about it. And especially when you have a deadline, and you have a presentation, and the client has high expectations about it, and then it's very challenging. And then you need to come up with a good idea. The boss is expecting something. So there are very bad days. Um, yeah, there have been.
yeah.
I think
Uh,
for me,
Sorry.
you were say like you mentioned the vulnerable place where when when the idea doesn't strike. I'll just give you like another story. When I like now, yesterday, day before, I've been thinking about something, and this job change, where I've left my
Hmm.
existing job. So I was just this vulnerable part. I was just thinking, you are bogged down by so many things. Like, for example, so I have earlier, like I was saying, 10 years, 11 years back, I left insurance, and I moved to advertising. So there I was at a decent position. I was earning reasonably well. And then I joined advertising, and I started from the base, the salary or my role. I started from the base, and again,
Yeah.
I built my way up. And now I'm at a certain level, earning, a certain amount. And then I'm leaving my job. Now, this I have not told my parents yet. This is something that my dad will not be able to digest. I mean, for him, have you lost it, or what is wrong with you? Why do you do this? So this is something that he won't be able to. So I have not told it to them, and I'm traveling to Kerala next month. So I'll keep it, like I'm planning not to tell them. Okay. So apart from the questions that in that circle, huge circle, there is a, what is it called, a significant arc or something, that which is
Right.
your own problem, wherein you are thinking, am I progressing? uh, I need to join a bigger company, or where should I go, like what should I look for, whether I should go for a bigger company where I'm able to get more exposure to more brands, work with more creative minds, uh, whether I should focus on doing that. And sometimes, now I'm at a certain age and state of mind, post COVID, I think I've also been thinking, if my creativity is not of use to people, what am I really doing? I create an ad, it makes money for the agency, it creates business for the client, and then it's all done. So maybe if it's a tvc or something, a month or two of work put into that, or maybe if it's a smaller or a website, so a month or 2 or 3 put into that. So you create all this, and then you create money for them, business for them, and then you have your own salary coming in, but you have not created anything for the world. So then, now I'm thinking, shouldn't I maybe join an NGO, or maybe, Tata Trust, or maybe Wipro Foundation, and see if they have a role where I can apply my creativity and do something better for the world. So I have my own questions, so many I'm dealing with. On top of that, then you need to think of, your salary is not coming in. What is, you put your family in a certain place, there is less money coming in every month. So are you being fair? Are you being fair to them? So there are those kind of questions. Then you're not telling things to your parents, because what will they feel? What will they tell their relatives? Or Jisha is not working. Why is she not working? She's done this before. Why is she doing it? There are so many questions. So this one small thing. I mean, this is there are so many aspects related to one small thing of you know leaving a job. It's not switching. If you switch, then it's all good, but you leave and you sit. I mean, who does that? So I mean, it's such a stupid thing, no, that I am thinking, overthinking about this, but these are all
Real issues.
practical. Yeah.
So, before I end, I want to give you one point of view that I have about your situation. I think being a creative person makes you trust the unknown a lot more. You
Hmm.
know there is something out there which is not into getting into hocus pocus of sorts, but there is a science to easing yourself in a situation and allowing life or nature or God or providence or whoever it is that is running the show, this whole sequence of things that you talk, to fall in place. Agitation of the, especially of the mental kind, not only traumatizes us, it also traumatizes the immediate atmosphere and everybody else concerned with it. I find uh, in my, like, one line dialogue to a lot of people who get worked up is, for millions of years, billions of years, the world has been okay. But really, we didn't do anything for the sun to rise or the mountains to be created or the fishes to be swimming, or uh, everything is perfect. Almost. Obviously, there is a lot that humankind has done wrong, and I don't know how many thousands of years we'll take to correct our mindsets as well as do something about it. That's another story. But generally speaking, life goes on, and I think on that note, I like your answer. I like how the episode has ended with vulnerability rather than solutions, because this is the space that you've been smiling and answering all the questions. You have a certain discipline with which you discuss the processes rather than the results itself. I think that is the objective of getting these kind of chats to happen, because somebody out there might be going through a bad time and they would just listen to this and feel, okay, here is a woman who seems to have got it sorted, and she's herself trying to distort her own position and trying to figure out what will happen. She also feels the same concerns I feel: parents, family, money, bills to be paid, etc., etc. Yet she's taken the plunge. And then she's talking about saving the world. But on one hand, she's trying to save her precarious existence.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, she's the, what a brave thing to do. And I think, yeah, kudos to your decision, to your journey. And thank you for joining me. It's been lovely meeting you again after so many years. I think we shall be a little more in touch now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the discussion. Lovely. I mean, it's always like I was telling you earlier. If I could ask all the questions that you would ask to myself, I would be in a much better place and I would have a lot of clarity in my life.
I do not know.
So,
I promise you that I'll make your life a little more miserable with some questions post this recording. So that should help, I guess. So I'll see you around. Bye.
okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.